This is the Little Moments Count radio podcast, created in partnership with community radio stations throughout Minnesota. Each episode, you'll hear interviews with early childhood experts on how to support the important brain development that takes place in the first 1,000 days of life, just through little moments every day. Learn more at littlemomentscount.org/podcast.
Yo. So, this is your boy DJ Big Mike. Welcome back to For the Culture. My headphones played a trick on me just now. We about to get fed real quick. So as soon as I plug this monitor in, you want to make sure that we don't lose power while I'm talking. Hold on real quick. Yeah, man. Family, you already know you are on mic 3. Let me turn that mic on. All right. So I have a guest in the studio. Can we check your mic? Check. Mic check. Can you introduce yourself to the KRSM listeners one time?
My name is Keenan Jones. I'm an educator and I'm an author of the debut picture book, Saturday Morning at the Shop. It's published by Beach Lane Books and Simon & Schuster.
Yes, sir. Hey, I don't even usually get to ask these questions to the guests that come for the thing that you're here for. So I'm curious, man. We already talked a little bit. What's some of your favorite hip hop artists?
Man. Oh man, I'm a child of hip hop, so I could go back, but I'm gonna say, being a Chicagoan, I gotta say Common, Kanye, Twista. I'm a big Tribe Called Quest fan.
Okay.
Roots, Wu-Tang. I mean, I can go down the list, but I would say definitely I started really tapping in the native tongues era as a young kid, and that just kind of got my mind. So I'm gonna go Common and Tribe for sure.
Ooh. All right, so this is going to be another one of those, I think I'm feeding my listeners and I get to eat too, right? We all at the same table, so we all should be eating at the same time anyway. This episode of For the Culture is presented in partnership with Little Moments Count and Minnesota Public Radio. Little Moments Count is a statewide collaborative focused on helping parents and caregivers learn about the importance of brain development in the first 3 years of life. Nearly 80% of brain growth happens in the first 1,000 days, and small moments of interaction like talking, playing, reading, and singing help create the pathways that build a child's brain during this early stage of life. For more information, you can visit littlemomentscount.org. For the Culture is excited to be partnering with Little Moments Count to host conversations like these focused on early childhood development. Every time I have a guest to talk about Little Moments Count and how they view the role of early childhood development in creating bright futures and strong communities. So I got a bio in front of me, but I want you to tell me about you, right? I will say that there's a couple things that I do want to make sure I highlight. So your journey to children's literature didn't begin in a writing studio. It began on the basketball court. I'm going to want to talk about that.
Oh, for sure.
After a college injury shifted his path from playing professionally, a creative writing class helped him rediscover the power of story. So tell us a little bit about yourself, just a little bit.
Got it. Well, so, I've been in Minnesota, I say about 20-something years. But, my early path, I go back to Gary, Indiana, and South Suburban Chicago. We did have a move in high school that brought me to Brooklyn Park. But, I love Minnesota, right? But, everything that that I bleed and that I come from comes from those areas in Illinois, Indiana. I come from a family of educators, musicians, athletes, and pastors. So, you know, a lot of those experiences shaped me early on. I tried to fight the teacher bug, and you know, it just, you know, God has his way of working, and it moved me to education. So I've been in public education for 15 years, teaching everything from 4th grade to my current role where I'm a middle school English teacher. I coach basketball as well. I'm always staying connected to the game. I'm a father of three daughters. I'm a girl dad.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, now this is kind of like my new act in life, which is writing children's books.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And the words on the page weren't bad, you know what I'm saying? But no one can talk to you about or explain you better than you.
Absolutely.
So you're from Gary, but South Chicago, where in Illinois?
So specifically University Park. So for folks out there that are familiar with,
I'm from Chicago.
Okay, yeah. So you know the Southland, you know, Harvey,
okay,
Hazelcrest, Cal City,
dope,
Masson, UP, Chicago Heights, Fort Heights. You know, everything a little south of the South Side. That was, you know, my stomping grounds growing up, and obviously heading east to Gary. I mean, I think for my family, it was easier to just hop right on 294 and get to Gary as opposed to coming all the way in the city. So, you know, I spent a lot of time back and forth between the south suburbs and Gary as a kid. So.
And there's quite a bit of people who, shout out to all the native Minnesotans, you know, shout out to the native South Side, Minneapolites, however you call it. I forget. I think that's probably right. But there's quite a few of us who have kind of come to Minnesota.
Man, absolutely. Yeah, I'll never forget when we moved up here, I was like, man, in Minnesota, what's going on? And the first kid that I met, we were chopping it up, and he's like, man, I'm from the Gardens, Hargell Gardens. And I was just like, what? And I asked my mom, and she's like, yeah, this has been, you know, there's been a lot of transplants from Gary and Chicago up here for a long time. And then all of a sudden, I just felt like I just started meeting all these people. You know, I ran into a childhood friend from Harvey that was here in Minnesota. So yeah, shout out to the Minnesotans, but there's a lot of transplants from Chicago and Chicagoland area up here. So
so we're gonna talk a little bit about a lot real quick. First, I want to talk about your connection to the Loft Literary Center.
Yes.
We love the Loft, by the way.
Okay, that's what's up.
But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so, you know, the Loft, you know, honestly, before getting into actually that point where I'm like, okay, I think I'm gonna be an author, I'm gonna write, I had no idea that the Loft existed. And it wasn't until the summer of 2021, I was doing an experience with the Minnesota Writing Project at the University of Minnesota, and there's a professor who noticed some of my writing, and she encouraged that I apply for the Loft Mirrors and Windows Fellowship. You know, at the time, you know, I'm writing stories, but, you know, I never thought that I would take that next step. And she kind of encouraged me to apply for the fellowship. So it's kind of like, you know, there's a lot of creative folks and talent in the state of Minnesota. So I'm like, okay, you know, it's one of those things. I'll throw my name in the hat. If it happens, it happens. If not, then I'll just keep trucking and writing. And sure enough, I put my name in and I got accepted.
Wow.
And the Mirrors and Windows Fellowship was specifically for, you know, authors of color who are trying to break into the industry.
Wow. Shout out to people who encourage other people to try things that they didn't think that they were going to be able to do. I'm in the position that I'm in as station manager of KRSM Radio because someone thought that.
Wow, it's powerful.
It's weird, but I like it. You know, I feel like it. So I wanted to shout the Loft out because I saw them on your
For sure.
On your
Shout
info.
out to the Loft.
All right, so author, right?
Yes, sir.
Many of your stories highlight everyday Black cultural spaces. Why is it important for you, for young children to see the beauty of their own neighborhoods reflected in books?
Well, I think one of the reasons why I chose Black spaces is because oftentimes, and I actually learned this through the Loft, they had someone come in, a professor, Sarah Park Dalen, from the University of Illinois, and she actually has an infographic that shows like the percentage of books written by certain groups, and Black stories, Native stories were at the bottom. And it was kind of mind-boggling to see because, being a teacher, I never really, I guess I recognized it, but I never really looked deeply into it. And so when I saw that, it just prompted me to start really doing research. And it's just like, wow, like there really aren't a lot of books that offer mirrors. And so I just felt it was important that I take the road of actually amplifying those spaces in books and centering Black boys as protagonists in the books as well.
Man. Oh, man. So what grade do you teach?
So right now I teach 6th through 8th grade.
What do they call that now? Is that middle school?
It's middle school. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. I know it changes.
It's okay. I've been blessed enough to be able to be, and I'm always hesitant to call myself a teacher, even when someone gave me an award for it. I was like, I'm really just a mentor. I was running a music program, and I got a chance to work with just all the ages. Like I joked about it, but it's true. Like they're like, who's the youngest kid you recorded? I'm like 6, maybe 5. All the way up, right? Mm-hmm. So your perspective is extra powerful to me.
No, I appreciate that.
Yeah. How long have you been teaching that grade?
So I've been actually teaching middle school this is my 5th year.
In there now.
I'm in a mix.
In there now. Okay. Question that's not on this. What books do you remember seeing as a kid that looked like us? Do you remember those?
That's a great question. I love that question because I actually just did a presentation at an elementary school the other day, and as I was preparing for it, I thought about the same thing. And I would say growing up, I was exposed to Langston Hughes early on, just in the elementary school. We valued, when I was in the South suburbs, we value Black history, right? But I think the first book where I actually saw a Black male protagonist written by a Black author was Walter Dean Meyer's Hoops. And my 5th grade teacher, she put it in my hands because she knew that I love basketball, but she also wanted me to understand that, there's levels to it and there's things that you got to do and people you got to avoid if you're trying to get to that college scholarship. So that was the first book that I remember that centered a Black male protagonist and written by a Black male author, children's book author, and that was Walter Dean Myers.
Beautiful. What other ages how long have you been a teacher?
So I've been a teacher for 14 years now.
Beautiful, man. So you taught what ages?
I taught 4th grade, 5th, 6th, and then obviously 7th and 8th. So elementary, intermediate grades, and then middle school.
Where did you start? You started at elementary?
Yeah, I started at elementary. And so actually before that, I was a para for a couple years at Robbinsdale Armstrong High School when I was working in an EBD program.
What is that?
Emotional behavior.
Oh, okay.
And so, the thing that really prompted me to want to get an education was that noticing that majority of the students in there were Black boys. And I said, okay, I gotta do something to try to keep and stop that pipeline.
Yeah. As a former elementary educator, what differences have you seen in young children who grow up surrounded by affirming cultural representation versus those who don't?
Man, it's this lack of knowing who they are, right? Just not being able to have exposure to books that look like them or that access. It just often leaves them kind of blank, right? Like not having like the identity. Like I'll never forget, I was teaching 5th grade and I had a student who was struggling, in so many different ways. And when I actually handed him a book called Crossover by Kwame Alexander.
Yeah, heard of that book.
His words are like, this is the first time that I've seen like a black male in the book, and how powerful that was. But then I thought about like kind of like his behaviors and how he moved, and I was just like, wow, he just had some things that he was missing, and that book, could offer a mirror for him to kind of see himself in a positive light. So
you're aware that you're becoming like a member of these young people's community, right? Like as you teach them.
Yes.
Especially now as a grown-up, like you understand, like you remember certain teachers.
Absolutely.
And they became a part of like the people who quote unquote helped raise you.
Absolutely.
So like the importance of like a strong cultural community. So like why does that matter? Like we all have, it'll be a multicultural, but why is that important? To have a strong cultural community. I
mean, you just having a sense of self and a sense of your identity, where you come from, why your people do certain things. Like I go back to my upbringing, and just something as simple as being raised in the Black Baptist Church, right?
Yeah.
And understanding how the church works, but the history behind the church and how it helped us in those times of endearment where we needed to be able to be together to survive certain situations. Like now, as a 42-year-old man, I look back and I say, okay, that's why it's important, and sometimes some kids don't have access to that, and it leaves them missing a part of their history. So being able to have that instilled early on as the brain is developing, it's a powerful, powerful tool.
And I'm 43, so okay, your words are, I mean, they hit. Mirrors and windows. Talk about that. Yeah, so like even going back to what I was saying with being at the Loft and learning about the lack of diverse books and children's publishing, it was that one book that I saw with Walter D. Myers. But when I go back, all the books that I was reading before that were, and nothing against it, right? Because we need to be able to read books of different cultures and understand things, but they were, the Boxcar Children and Beverly Cleary books, and that offered something that wasn't really a part of my existence in neighborhood at the time. But, it allowed me to see other things. But at the same time, I don't know if it was as culturally affirming as when I got to the Walter D. Myers book, and I was like, oh, wow. So not having access to those early on, it's leaving a gap for some students. And I'm happy that now there's this awareness around it. We understand how important it is so that we can help this next generation. Man, one book. One book. It's like we pay attention to all the other books, right? We hear what's being taught to us. We're learning. A lot of times they're teaching to the test, right? So they teach you the things that you need to learn to pass the test. Okay. I paid attention. I passed the test. And then I read one book that had representation that made me feel like I was reading something about my life, and it had changed my whole perspective. Man, absolutely. It's crazy. I was like, I did some research because I'm just like, why are stories and books so important? How did they even get on this planet Earth? And it's just one of those things that it's like there's certain things that exist for a reason, right? And stories were meant to be put on this earth for us to pass down traditions, learn about each other, learn about other people. It's just one of those phenomena that it's hard to explain. You talked about the importance of seeing positive images, right? Like talk a little bit more about that as far as like I open the book, I'm a young person, I open the book and I want to see, because I see a lot of negative around me probably. Absolutely. So how important is that in the book?
I mean, I think it's important in the book because, you know, and especially even with children's books where you have these illustrations and, you know, children are sponges. So when they're opening the book and a picture book and they're seeing smiling faces as opposed to potentially what they could be seeing in their environments, right? At no fault of their own, right? They're just kids. It changes. It just hits different. It's something about pictures and words on the page that have an impact on the mind and the soul that can transform a human being. It's super powerful. So you know, obviously, you know, kids are seeing what's going on around them, whether good or bad. But then you can kind of take yourself and put yourself in this space of this book. The imagination starts moving, and you're seeing smiling, happy faces and stories that you can connect with, and it does something to you deep inside.
Yeah. Even talking about it is doing it, right? Like, just thinking about how lucky I feel lucky. It's the last day of Black History Month, and I'm sitting here with a Black teacher, author.
Man, I appreciate that.
And like I'm already getting fed. So the next question I'm gonna ask you is because that's what this is for me. So we talked off air about how long I've been a DJ and how I got into this position and all that good stuff. But in like, and my listeners know this, we going deep today, y'all. So you just, that's kind of how we go. All right. This is Black Boy Joy.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
For
I was
me.
thinking about that when I was driving over here.
Like, that's what this is for me. Like, this is like, yes, I work the job, but for 2 hours every week, I get to come in this studio and just like smile, have what it means to feel like extra full. Like I equate that to like, I'm a happily married man. This is my only mistress. Like music, and she's cool with it. You know?
She cool with it.
Yeah, she understands.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? Probably listening now.
And it's vice versa. Like seeing you in this space, amplifying voices as a DJ, you know, it's powerful. It's powerful.
We need that. Your work intentionally celebrates Black joy in everyday life. Why was it important for you to lead with joy rather than struggle? Because that's out there too.
So I actually go back to how I even got the idea of the book. It happened right after George Floyd, and I had a mentorship group for young Black boys, and I remember the COVID-19 pandemic hit. We had to go Zoom.
Yeah.
And they were emailing me like, Mr. Jones, we got to talk. Like, we got to talk. I don't know what's going on. A lot of my students lived in Minneapolis, so they were experiencing, you know, what was going on during that time.
Yeah.
And so I opened up a Zoom meeting, and I saw tears, and I heard words like, why do they hate us? Do they not know that we want to be successful in life? Why they keep treating us like this? And after that sat with me, and I'm like, I got to do something. You know, and shout out to everybody on the front lines, right? We need folks at all levels. But for me personally, I went the creative route. And so I actually had a draft of a book that was centered around the George Floyd story. But I want to lean into something that's going to be powerful and empowering so young Black boys and males can be happy. And the barbershops were closed. And then when the shop opened back up, it actually was a Saturday morning. And I just saw Black men. I mean, you know, brothers was happy to be able to be back in the shop and get a cut.
Yeah.
But just being in community with one another. And I was like, this is it. I got to write something that can depict Black men and boys in a positive light, showing smiling of all generations. And that's where I got the idea of the book. And I wanted to center it around Black Boy Joy.
Man, look. And the book is Saturday morning at the shop. Reading the title, so I'm gonna want this book. Where can we? Is the book only available physically?
Yeah, it's available online. I mean,
Okay.
It's pretty. I mean, it's a blessing. It's every platform: Target, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Simon and Schuster, independent bookstores. You know, obviously it's at a lot of bookstores.
Yeah, I'm gonna want a physical copy.
Yeah, I mean, Wild Rumpus bookstore in Minneapolis, Red Balloon,
Dope.
St. Paul, Black Garnett Books.
Dope.
So there's a lot of places.
Heard all that. All those sound like special bookstores too.
They are. Wild Rumpus, they got animals in there as well. So if you want to take your kids, grab a book and see some animals.
That's what's up.
Yeah, it's a dope bookstore.
Just hearing the title, as a black man growing up in the barbershop, it made me smile just reading the title. Mm-hmm. Because if you know anything about that, there's so much going on in the shop.
So much going on.
I even joke with my cousin's a barber.
Okay.
And I've been his client since I was like 12.
Wow, okay.
And he's on like a couple weeks older than me, right? So same age, cutting my hair, right? I was his client. Now we're both 43.
Yep.
He has a shop, right? He runs back in the city. And my barber here, I tell her a lot, like, this is the most peaceful place.
Oh, man.
It's so much going on, like, and there's a bunch of conversations and, and sweeping, and
all
like,
of that.
It's a lot going on, but like, for me as a man, like, I'm at peace there.
At peace, man. All that going on, and then you get to the razor finish. Mm-hmm. You closing your eyes, and all that going on. Just trust.
Man,
it's therapeutic for sure.
So. It captures the barbershop as a cultural hub. What is that?
Like, I feel like in the communities, right? You have your libraries, you have your community centers, you have your schools. You know, I'm hearing a lot of people say like the third space. And I feel like the barbershop is that because it's in a neighborhood. So many people are coming there from different generations. It's not just young kids getting their haircuts. You might have local politicians, your firefighters, local businessmen, you know, teachers, coaches, all coming into the shop, and it just brings this community feel when you in the shop, and then, you know, not only your uncle is in there, but you got your neighborhood basketball coach coming in, and it just allows for so many rich conversations. So.
You mentioned the youngsters. What do you hope that the young readers and the adults, but the young readers, take away from the book?
Well, I want them to take away that, for one, that what is that space and place that brings you joy, right? It could be the barbershop. It could be grandma, grandpa's house, because you're going to need those spaces as you grow older where you feel you feel safe and you feel at peace. But I also wanted to show young people as well that it's about being happy, having fun, being a kid. I mean, there's two scenes in the book where the kids, they playing freeze tag in a barbershop, running around. Or there's another scene where they're at the vending machine trying to get some snacks out, right? Smiling, right? Like, embrace being a kid and having fun in that space that brings you joy.
I love how you call it scenes. It's like a movie.
It's like a movie.
Did you plan it like that, or is that kind of how it happened?
No, I did. I mean, it was a part of the plan, and I felt like every moment in the morning and every page in the book is like a scene in a movie, because you can go in depth. You know, on picture books, you only got 32 pages, right? So, so every page in that book has major importance, and there's so many things going on in the book. You know, my illustrator, I got to shout out the illustrator. My brother, his name is Ken Daly from Canada.
Okay.
And what's even more powerful is that you got a brother from Canada who went to the barbershop in Toronto, who had the same experience as we have here in the States, which I think just added more power to the book, to have another brother illustrator who had a similar experience from another country.
How let's see, how can I phrase the question? How loud are you about how happy you are to be a black man?
I'm super loud. You know, I mean, but it wasn't, it hadn't always been like that though. You know,
that's why I asked.
Yeah, it took time. It took me having to, you know, bump my head a few times and, you know, really ultimately, right, like trying to figure out who I was. You know, obviously I had this basketball life.
Right.
That was my identity. And once that injury happened, you know, I went through some rough periods where I had to redefine myself. And it was actually books and writing that lifted me out of that and set me back on a path forward to really rediscovering who I was as a core. And it was books, right? Before it was basketball, I was an avid reader, writer, illustrator. I was a creative kid. So, you know, things happen for a reason. And once I went back to that, I really started to rediscover myself as a man, as a black man.
How old were you? What was real quick the injury? How old?
I
were you?
was 22.
So you were playing what, college ball?
Yeah, I was playing college basketball. Yeah, and you know, it was one of those things that, you know, I don't have no regrets. Right, I was able to accomplish a lot on the basketball court. Obviously, I didn't get to my ultimate goal of playing professionally, but you know, I look back on my career and I was able to do more than the average basketball player. So,
what school was it that you went to?
So I played at a couple junior colleges out of state in Maryland and Tennessee, but most notably University of Minnesota, Duluth.
Dope. Shout out to the Hoopers. I only got you for a little bit. I just been talking to you, man. I told you it was gonna be like this.
Right? Nah, I appreciate it.
Literacy for Freedom. You started that?
Yeah, I started that.
What is it, and what did you learn from it?
So, you know, Literacy for Freedom was actually an organization where I was trying to figure out how to empower young black boys. It started as a mentorship group, and then I decided to turn it into a 501c3 nonprofit. And I just recently have started to kind of back away from it a little bit because the mission was served. You know, it was about 25 young black men that I was mentoring, and I sought them through from 7th grade to now, where these young men are either in college, working jobs now. But, you know, I just wanted to make sure that I dedicated, you know, intentional time to supporting young black boys. And, you know, they all came from different walks of life. Some 2-parent homes, some being raised by grandma, you know, some being raised by single mom or being raised by their fathers. And, you know, just offering them another mentor or someone who was able to kind of navigate being a black man in America. And it was a great organization. I got a lot of support. And so, you know, I'm sad the work continues though, right? Regardless if it's a 501c3 or not, you know, the work still continues because our young brothers need us like never before. Yep.
I resonate with so much with everything that you're saying, especially that last part. Because I didn't, and maybe that's what this is for, because I didn't see, I ran an artist development program.
Okay.
I still do, for like the last 10 years, right? So like, if the person that I met at the beginning was like 18, that's a almost 30-year-old person now. So when you said that resonated with me. I'm literally still talking, still mentoring, because you're never too old, right? I don't know if you ever get to a point where you don't need.
I still need it now. You know
what I'm saying? So like, I really, what made you turn it into a nonprofit?
I wanted to impact more black males, or black boys, I should say, around the Twin Cities area, and through some connections I had. You know, I started in Hopkins, but then I started noticing that like there was a need in North Minneapolis, and then there was a need in Brooklyn Park, and then there was a need in St. Paul. So I was able at a small scale to kind of have an impact on those cities and those areas with kids through connections, through the school, through community members.
Got it. Man, Keenan, dope, brother.
Man, I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. If you could leave families with one message about reading, talking, playing, singing with their young children, what would it be?
I would say use any and every opportunity as a literacy moment. You go into McDonald's, right? Call out the letters in the McDonald's. Call out the letters in the Happy Meal. When you're at home, right? I get it. Life speeds up. We got devices, but there are so many great programs. Like, with my daughter, when she was 3 and 4, shout out to Gracie's Corner.
Yeah.
That was a powerful YouTube show that's now, they're doing major things now, but just the letters, singing the songs with my daughter, it just only does so much. So try to use any moment for conversation with your child, literacy, tap into local libraries, use those little moments to empower your kids around literacy. Man,
it's a beautiful. All I can do is smile. It's Black History Month. I get to spend my last show of the month with a brother that is resonating. He's a little bit more chocolate than me.
I'm a little bit more chocolate, yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? Still my brother now at this point. So, any shout outs? Anybody you want to say what's up to?
Yeah, no, I want to shout out Simon & Schuster for believing in me and, taking a chance on this debut book, right? It's not a lot of us in the picture book space as Black males, so for them believing in my talent and being able to distribute this book around the world, I thank them for that. Definitely shout out to the Loft.
Yeah. Again,
they really invested in me and gave me the fellowship, which really spearheaded everything that's happening right now. I cannot shout out the Loft for everything that they've done, and just everybody out there supporting the book. The local bookstores, Wild Rumpus, Red Balloon, Strive, Black Garnet Books. We got some great independent bookstores in the Twin Cities, and they're doing a lot to amplify the book and selling in the stores, but also making sure they're getting into schools, right? They're kind of providing that bridge from my big publisher to their independent bookstores and getting the books into the schools. So shout out to them for sure.
All right. There you have it. You can hear a recording of this show at littlemomentscount.org/podcast. If you'd like to learn more about Little Moments Count, you can visit their website at littlemomentscount.org. Keenan, I appreciate you.
Man, I appreciate you, man.
You family now. Thanks for feeding my listeners.
For sure.
Thanks for listening to the Little Moments Count radio podcast in partnership with community radio stations throughout Minnesota. You can find the Little Moments Count radio podcast wherever you get your podcasts and at littlemomentscount.org/podcast.